Thank you very much for coming to my presentation. I will talk briefly about venture capital financing and our activities in Poland and Central Eastern Europe. We are active on the market since 1998. At 16 years, we are successfully investing into early stage and growth stage companies within Eastern Europe and Europe. And my first venture capital investment happened 94, 95. That's probably one of the longest, or maybe the longest experience in financing venture capital technology startups within Eastern Europe, and one of the oldest one in Europe. We are active in all of the segments of so-called digital distribution, digital disruption, digital adaptation, digital transformation market that we operate already our fifth venture fund, and we are in the process of starting to establish our sixth and seventh venture fund. We operate venture debt, we operate growth fund, and we operate buyouts. Yes, that's like all different segments of the financing needs to grow up or develop companies. That's pretty boring, but that's the team. Our team is almost 15 investment professionals. That's the largest investment team within Central Eastern Europe, one of the bigger tech teams in Europe. My background, I'm technology entrepreneur. I started by making money on software. That was mid 80s, and then in early 90s I was producing computers. And as it was pretty boring, I decided to start to be a venture capitalist in 98. Cezary, our second managing partner, he was a co-founder of Alior Bank, which he successfully built together with Wojtek Sobieraj, which was $300 million early stage funding and $2 billion IPO on the Warsaw Stock Exchange. Yeah? And Sylwester Janik is our partner, which is specializing in growth investments. Sylwester successfully led our investments into companies like iZettle, which is a European leader of the mobile payments terminals, Azimo, which is one of the global leaders in money transfers, in Auctionata, which is a Berlin-based global leader in luxury auctions, and many other great investments. And recently Sylwester managed our best exit, which was Invia trade sale in Czech Republic, where we made close to 70 million euro profits. Here you see our team. Basically, Tomek Danis and Michał Wrzołek. Michał is here on the conference. Michał is here. They are managing our early stage fund called MCI Internet Ventures, which is doing smaller investments, more risky type of investments within our portfolio. You see the description of the fund. As said, we are one of probably the most active venture capital investor in Central Eastern Europe, and definitely the oldest one, which still continue to operate and is successfully growing. There are different stages of financing early stage. Yes, that there is like and it's important to understand that, because sometimes by not understanding the specifics of the specific funds, sometimes there is a lot of miscommunication and unfortunately waste of time. As we see the Polish market, how many of you are from Poland? How many of you are outside of Poland? Is there anybody outside of Poland here? Yes, one. Okay. Which country? Ukraine. Okay. That Ukraine I don't know too much. I know one or two funds. The market is, but basically I believe Ukrainian entrepreneurs should come to Poland for funding right now. Yes, I think all the East should go to West. But if you look at the Polish market, there are like different setups for financing venture capital needs of venture capital financing. You have incubators or early stage or business angels, and they are taking a risk of idea stage. Like there is idea, somebody wants to start a business, and it's normally it's too much risk for the organized investor to go with such type of stage of the idea. That for that you have these incubators, business angels, this sort of money. Then there are funds which are specializing in the first stage. It's usually the stage where the company is somehow created. I mean, there is a vision, there is a PowerPoint describing what he wants to do, how he wants to do. There is maybe 1, 2, 3 people within the company, and there is the beginning of the product development. And I will say that this is a so-called seed stage or startup stage, where you have a specialized, very early stage investors. We believe that there are a couple of them maybe more known on the Polish market, like Satus, Innovo, Innovation Nest, which are enjoying to take this sort of stage, this sort of risk. And there are more venture type of stages. I would call it early venture and late venture or growth stage. Yes, that you have also different players which are more or less active. We try to be active in all of this early venture and growth stage. I think in growth stage we are one of the more important funds in Europe. In venture capital in early stage we basically operate in Eastern Europe, covering let's say countries like Poland, Baltics, east part from the Polish border. From time to time also making an investment in Czech Republic. And a couple of other guys which are also active in this space, like 3TS, Point9, Giza Ventures, which is a also subsidiary of one of the best VC funds in Israel. And there's a next step which is so-called growth stage, which is financing 10 million euro plus for companies which are more developed, which basically needs to grow up the business to become pan-European or global champions, and that's so-called growth stage. Definitely here we are the major and the most active player in this segment. Here you have some examples of our different companies which we backed in the past. Travel Plant was an investment from '99. That was the first e-commerce IPO on the Warsaw Stock Exchange. Bankier was again our investments in 2000, which finally was sold to Naspers Group 2008. One-to-One was one of the first mobile business companies built in Poland from Poznań, exited through the Warsaw Stock IPO. Process4E was CRM specialist, again from early 2000. Fido, super successful deal which we made in Czech Republic, e-commerce for vertical e-commerce specializing in baby products. 8 times money sold to the European consolidation platform. S4E was a storage specialist built in Krakow, which was IPO'd on a New Connect stock market and finally sold to the management team. Any Broker, which was a fintech company specializing in providing the financial leads to the financial institutions, which last year we exited to Bauer. That's a kind of, it's very important to understand if you team up with the fund, what's the real track record of the fund, how many exits he managed, because basically for the entrepreneur the fund is like a husband or like a wife. Yes, if it's wrong choice, sometimes it could drive you to the crisis. Yes, it's important that the fund will be a proper partner for building successful company and managing successful exit in the end of the day. Yes, we have much more early stage investments. Just to give you the feeling, I think Frisco is Warsaw-based e-commerce of the FMCG products, fresh food, etc. A very heavy investment where we basically invested a lot of money, plus brought a strategic partner, Eurocash. Company successfully growing. It was a lot of work from the VC side to make that investment as performing, as successful as it is right now. Another interesting investment, Morele, which grew up to become the largest e-commerce B2C platform right now on the Polish market with close to 150 million euro in revenue. Genomed, which was the spin-off from Polska Akademia Nauk, which is a DNA research laboratory, currently listed on the Warsaw Stock Exchange. As Good as New is a Berlin-based e-commerce business with factory on the border between Poland and Germany, which will do refurbishment of the electronic products. And Travelata is a Moscow-based online travel startup, which is successfully growing right now in Russia. Even in this difficult market in Russia, the company is growing more than 100% a year. That's another type of investments. I mean, we probably did about 100 investments in the last 15 years. I try to mention the more important ones, the more one which we identify as a clear success stories for us. I think it's a lot of echo. It's a common thing in this startup conferences that there is a very bad noise. I'm not always sure how clear I am with the communication. Yeah, maybe better. Basically, you can divide the type of opportunities into the global ones, European ones, and regional ones. Yes, and it's important to understand what's the opportunity related to our business, because based on that we are able to raise less on more money. We also should, based on that, target the proper investors. For example, we have a company called Seedly, which is on the left upper corner of the slide. I don't know how to make it, but Seedly. This is the watch which is doing kind of medical diagnosis, and it's a kind of opportunity which can become pan-European or global, and probably with this strategy company can raise more money because the exit value will be bigger, that there's possibility to put more money into the business. Yes. Another business which we exited was, for example, let's say eBroker. eBroker was a national champion. The exit value from eBroker was relatively small. It was 20 million, I think 20-30 million zlotych exit, and there was only a space for one round in this venture. Yes, that based on that, I mean, if you produce a bigger company which is targeting a bigger market, you can raise more money. If you build a smaller company which is targeting a smaller market, you should raise less money. Probably you should live with one round of financing. Yes. Yeah. This is our history in terms of how we develop our fund. I mean, currently we are 2.5 billion zlotys, but most of this money we spend on a later stage and buyouts type of investments. There's some track record. I mean, we are definitely the most successful in so-called growth stage, that basically buying companies from the venture capital instead of acting as a venture capitalist. But of course, we are still doing venture capital investments. As I said before, there are kind of questions which I was told to share with you and to comment on that. I think, as said, venture capital is rather broad spectrum, and you have a different venture capital money within so-called venture capital sector. That it's important to understand on which stages we are, that what kind of investor we should talk to. Yes, business angels, accelerators, incubators, startup seed investors, startup investors, early venture capital investors. Yes, that's one. Second, subject to our business model, European, global, national, regional. We have a different ability and different space for raising money, and we also need a different quality of the management team, etc. that is important to understand. It could be a very successful national companies, like for example Allegro is. Allegro was built from nothing to $1 billion business, and that was a national champion. And there are companies which are building to be European champions, like Dog Planner, Znany Lekarz, which are raising more and more money because they need that money to expand and geographically and to build their presence on different markets. We are more into this later stage that we are happy to work with early stage investors and the companies which already are operating on the market for 2-3 years, and then we are happy to take them from that stage and help them to become an IPO or the large trade sale to the final strategic buyer. And of course, we have a broad value proposition to the portfolio. I mean, we have access to all European and a majority of European and majority of the global best VC funds and corporate venture funds. We made a lot of co-investments with Intel Capital, with Axel, Balderton, I think Index, yes, we have Index, that all the major brands which are active in Europe we already co-invested with. We also have access to the best investment banks in Europe, Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, Merrill Lynch, Jefferies. We executed jointly IPO projects or financial runs. We have the deepest track record on exiting technology companies from Central Eastern Europe in all possible channels. Channels means selling to different type of buyers, private equity buyers, strategic buyers and IPO market. We already made more than 10 IPOs within our portfolio, and not only in Warsaw but also in Western Europe. We have very good access to the different experienced people, and it's very important, especially if you're building a European or global business. You need to scale up the management team. You need to put you need to bring a top level people from, usually they are located in Western Europe, like Berlin, Moscow, Berlin, London, Stockholm, and you need to recruit the so-called world-class CTOs, world-class CMOs, world-class CFOs to be able to build a European or global business. That it's important that you have an access to proper executive search companies, you have an access to the talents on the market, and you have a brand which doesn't scare them to work for you. Yes, that I think one of the values which is very important is that by the brand of the investor, you're also promoting a company as a place to work for the best people on the market. Yes, it's also important that the brand is very important factor for further fundraising. We normally like to follow the best investors in Europe, and also the other investors like to follow the successful brands, successful investors' brands. That I think quality of investors and the brand of investors is very important. I think that's kind of major points. I'm sure you have a lot of questions you want to ask me, that I'm happy to answer all your questions. Michał, maybe you will help me with the first question. Yes. Because there's a long queue of questions, I start with you. Oh, there's one more question.
What qualities you think founders of startups should have? What you're looking for in?
I think it's more about such quality that they will be able to execute the vision they have and the plan they have. Yes, I mean, in the end of the day, we are interested in the performance and results of the project. Yes, I think what makes on me the best impression is the people which are pretty analytical, which are not overselling. Yes, I mean, we sometimes see on the presentations people which are overselling. I think there is a kind of limit of overselling. If you're selling too much, it seems to be pretty risky from the investor's perception. That which are very competent about what they're talking about. They understand the sector, they understand the challenges, which are super committed, because really to build a successful company from scratch, you need to be super committed. You need to, for you, it has to be super important thing. It's not very opportunistic. If you're opportunistic, you will probably fail. What else? You need to be enough strong leader to basically recruit people and convince investors to put money. That you have to be a lot of leadership skills around. And then again, it depends if it's a national, regional, European, or global. I think if you build a European or global company, all these things needs to be on a different level. Yeah? That's how I feel about that.
Referring to what you said before, you believe even for a startup that has some limited budget at the beginning, let's say, it's important to hire already top people in certain areas?
No, it's a kind of balance, because if you hire the top people in the beginning, or usually need to pay them a lot of money, or you need to dilute the business a lot. Yeah? That it's also about scaling. Yes, like you need to. It's a kind of game between cash burn, acquiring talents, acquiring money, acquiring the growth of the business, and you need to play with all these four elements same time, and you need to be intelligent enough to understand that it's not easy, especially for the national champion. I don't think you need a super talent. It's more like a strong entrepreneur and let's say relatively okay management team, but especially for European or global talents, it's quite a lot of top-level people within the team. Also investors which are putting a lot of money and they are really sophisticated are expecting to see such a type of top-level team, and that's starting to be a very difficult game, because you need to pay then 200,000-300,000 euro, and it's very difficult to be afforded by the small company. Yeah? Yeah. And usually these people are located in London or Western Europe is different cost level. Then yeah, that's also again, if it's a strong investors base with a strong brands, you can also try to pay by shares. Yes, and that makes you on the safe side, much safer side than by acquiring people via the cash. Yeah.
Hello, Maciek Nutek. I've got a question. In interviews some times ago, you said that this year will be a year of public to private. And can you give us some examples of companies or industries that you're interested in?
We just made a public tender of ATM. That's the largest data center. Q3 we did eCard, which is a payment company. We are in the process of consolidating the payments in Poland, and we are working on the next transactions. Yes, I mean the Q1 was ATM. Yes, there's more deals on the pipeline. I think the market, but that's nothing to do with venture capital. It's buyout opportunities, but the public market in Poland is relatively weak at the moment. There is a limited number of supply of money. And companies are doing relatively okay. That I think the market is undervalued, and there is probably better value creation opportunity on a buyout side in Poland than on a venture side in Poland. Yeah. We follow our sectors. That we basically do digital disruption, but of course to find undervalued digital disruption company is not easy on the Warsaw Stock Exchange. We believe we have a unique value proposition for digital transformation, digital adaptation, like traditional champions which needs to transform to the digital model, like banks, financial services. Some business services that will be the most common opportunity. Retail is having a strong like SMIC, for example, is the traditional retail for baby products, needs to adapt to internet, to e-commerce, etc. That will be the sectors. And here we believe we have a kind of advantage versus the other private equity houses because of our experience in venture capital and digital. A digital ecosystem, that means all the business models which are benefiting from the growth of internet, like logistics services, telecoms, things around. Yes. which you can find. Like, for example, there are special production companies because e-commerce is changing the model of distribution that you see more and more short series production, yes, done in Europe versus long series production and long delivery time in China. Yeah? That I think this will also create opportunities for some industry to be redeveloped in Europe. That it's worth to look at these opportunities. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Finally, me. There is a recurring question: if it makes sense for a Polish startup to create an alteration or different version of a business model that already works, like Polish Skype, Spotify, Facebook, or WhatsApp. So, is it worth it? So,
I think there's like a Google, Facebook, or Microsoft business models, which basically not leave too much space for anybody else. Like, for example, in case of Google, there are a few countries where still you see the local search, but normally Google took it over. Like, they didn't left any space for anybody else on this market. Same happened with Facebook in reality. Yes, like that. It's very important to understand if the sector or the business model have enough local protection versus globalization. If you are too late, yes, it means that, and I think the good example was Allegro, which was enough large not to be beaten by eBay. I think usually e-commerce is having that advantage that there is if you are already a market leader in a specific country, and even Amazon is coming or the vertical brand is coming, usually it gives you a good tools to protect your customer relationships and your market from this sort of competition. But when the business model is purely based on technology, especially when there is additional factor of globalization, like in Facebook, you want to have international and Polish friends, that it doesn't make sense to have Facebook and Nasza Klasa. Yes, that basically that factor killed Nasza Klasa. Same history was with Gadu Gadu and Skype. Yes, that Gadu Gadu was already profitable when Skype started, but in a longer period, because of financing and because of the international communication, Gadu Gadu lost the market to Skype, yes, and messengers, which is like an additional type of competition to this segment. That it's always about like trying to understand the specifics of the market or of the business model you are operating, and based on that answer the question if there is a what kind of risk do we have from the global competitors. What are our chances to protect our position within country or within Europe or within the region? Yeah? But there is still a lot of business models which are staying local. Like I mean, in reality, 90% of our early stage deals were basically about the business models which were local and which will be operating locally. Yeah?
Okay, so my question, you got a large knowledge about e-commerce market. I would like to ask you, what is your opinion about bots, e-commerce bots? Karol Rybak from Mr. Helpful.
E-commerce?
Bots.
Box.
Bot. B-O-T.
B-O-T. I'm afraid I have no opinion. What's that?
Oh, so I can have a presentation right now. We are preparing an e-commerce bot for Facebook Messenger because of Open API. It was about 1 month ago, and we would like to improve all of trading inside the communicator like Messenger. Now we are on Facebook Messenger and we are trying to connect it to the whole market, for example with Allegro, with Seneo and everything else. You know,
it's kind of meta communicator or what? How you would call it? It's a meta because you are trying to bring something which is inside of the platform to the outside users, right?
No, we are on the Facebook and we are available for all of Facebook users and we are trying to give them a possibility to buy things in our market its presents for gifts, for people, and you can buy this gift through Facebook Messenger.
No, I think Facebook, for many years, Facebook was not very effective in terms of lead generation. I mean, Google was like a dominant player here, but it's changing, and I think social media, especially Facebook, is getting more and more traction. Same with Instagram. That if you had kind of ad tech functionality, which you can help people which are ready to sell through Facebook, that makes sense. And then it's more detailed discussion about where you are in terms of the market, in terms of your competition, which probably I need to learn a little bit more about. But I believe Facebook is becoming also the attractive channel for acquiring the leads and acquiring the users for different type of digital businesses. Yes, gaming that was always for gaming, but also for e-commerce and also for probably software as a service. Yeah, fintech. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Not sure if I asked for your question, but we can talk later. I mean, we are here to find the deals, not money.
Another question about mobile e-commerce or m-commerce. Do you think that Poland is already developed enough, I'm talking about fashion e-commerce, to focus mostly on mobile?
On mobile? No, I think not, because we have a data about, for example, iPhone sale. I think iPhone users are paying much more than Android users, yes? And I think the volume on iPhone phones shows you how mature is the market, and we have this luck that we are the 50% distributor of Apple in Turkey and 50% distributor of Apple in Poland. Yes, like 100%. We are basically covering half of the market, and Turkey is doing 6 times bigger volume than Poland, or 7 times bigger volume than Poland. That really shows that Poland is. It's like 2 years, 3 years behind of Turkey, and Turkey is not the most sophisticated market in European Union. It's like on average or below the average. That I think Poland is very premature in terms of mobile. You know, that I will be expecting to see a significant catch up in the next 3 years in mobile usage. You know, transactional usage, etc.
So it's too early to invest, because if you build your if that will be your position, yes, it will be also advantage.
No, I think you will see much weaker traction on mobile than in other EU countries or in other European countries. But it also will be the fastest growing channel. And I think right now if you have e-commerce project or SaaS project or marketplace project which is not mobile first, you are the loser, right? That I think from that perspective, if it's simple like 2 years ago in Western Europe. Yeah? It's okay. I mean, you should remember that right now mobile will not bring enough return to investments which you are doing, but within the next 2-3 years it should show the significant traction. Yeah? Compared to, I think for me iPhone is showing maturity of the market, like market share of iPhone, and market share of iPhone in Poland is relatively on a low end compared to the other countries in Europe. Yeah. Sounds like questions are over. Thank you very much. And if you have more questions and projects to share with us, we are. Michał is here. Yes, Michał is here, and I will be here for the next 15 minutes. Happy to chat one-to-one. Thank you.